You know who else is a part of that tier, Fanta? Arizona. There's no doubt in my mind. The fact that what are they ranked 8th right now?
Yep.
That is laughable to me. They went into Champaign and beat up on an Illinois team that is starting to actually play pretty well. I think I feel comfortable saying Illinois is a top 20 team in college basketball right now, with a chance to be a top 10 team if everything goes right with Andre Curbelo and if they come back. So talk to me about these Wildcats, man, because Tommy Lloyd, it's amazing to me how quickly Tommy Lloyd transformed that roster into the team that he envisions and the team that he wants, because they're there. That's a Tommy Lloyd basketball team.
Well, they beat Illinois in Champaign on a day that Illinois hit 16 three-pointers. I mean, that is exceptional stuff. You know, that I just look at this team. They have professionals on their team, guys that have played pro ball overseas. I thought that Nick Baugh for Fox, along with Tim Brando, I thought the telecast was really good. And Nick said this. He goes, you have decision-making players on your team, not one, not two, like 4 at a time, that have played with grown men overseas and are now translating this to the college game. They're a step ahead. Arizona is a step ahead right now, especially with the basketball. They manage the ball well. Kerr Kriisa is someone that I just think is only getting started. I think he's someone that's going to keep growing. And as he goes, they're going to go. Like, he determines their full ceiling, because you know what you're going to get from Ben Mathurin, and you know what you're going to get from Tubelis as well. The length that this team has, we knew about that. But, guys, for me, to go into a hostile atmosphere and to manage the game down the stretch the way they did and find a way to gut that out, it's a massive step. Road wins in this sport early in the season are so telling of who you can be in March. And for Arizona, that was a massive victory. Sean Miller left Tommy Lloyd with talent, but Tommy Lloyd has gotten a ton out of it and has adapted it and made this group 1 to 5 be so incredibly versatile. Arizona is as versatile a team in college basketball right now. They can skin a cat in different ways.
I love that you could leave Christian Coloco alone, because what ended up happening was after they hit about, well, you said they hit 17 threes. I have the stats right here. They ended up hitting 16 threes. Yeah. After about 14 of them, Lloyd was like, you know what, Christian Coloco, you're on your own. If you get beat up a little bit and you foul a couple times, that's fine, but we're going to hand you all this responsibility. And what did he do? Held Kofi Coburn to 5 of 15.
Yep.
How many people have been able to do that throughout the course of the year? Coloco, what does he have? 7'7", 7'8" wingspan? Like, he's huge. And I thought he did a really, really good job whenever they started to figure out Illinois defensively. But one thing that stood out to me more than anything else about this Arizona team, you know, I feel like I'm referring back to Goodman saying point guard play all the time. Kerr Kriisa, he wasn't great in the first half. He turned it on in the second half when Illinois started doing drop coverage. I think that's because that allowed him to get some breathing room and a head of steam. How good are they going to be whenever they are pressured and some of the passing lanes are denied? But I feel like this Arizona team is so big and physical around the perimeter. They look like a team that'll end up in the Elite Eight or the Final Four because of their sheer size and ability with that size to play that physical brand of basketball on the perimeter that is allowed more so in the NCAA tournament than it is during conference play. I love this team. Benedict Mathurin, guys, like a fan.
Stud, dude.
Fan, dude. Like this guy.
A lottery pick. I think
professional player.
A lottery pick.
Yeah, unbelievable. That transition catch and shoot three, where he is so strong in his lower body to where he can just catch it, go straight up. And this team typically, and I say typically, and I almost feel guilty for saying this, you've got one American-grown kid in the starting lineup in Dallin Terry. The rest of the time, you'll get a bunch of solid defensive players. There is an edge to the other four, too. Kerr Kriisa, he's got some shit to him. Mathurin, that dude's tough. Azuolas Tubelis, good gosh, like much more athletic than I think people give credit for. I had trouble with that name the other day too. Azuolas Tubelis.
I just want to know, when you were playing overseas, if people looked at you and like, this Oglesby guy.
I had to like correct it a couple times when I was playing in Russia and Georgia because the alphabet. So like we had to like sit and have 10-minute conversations over how to pronounce it. But that's neither here nor there.
Terence Oglesby.
Oglesby. Oh, is it Oglesby or Ogol? It was a big thing. It was a big thing. So, but I mean, a bunch of tough dudes.
I love it.
Oglesby.
Oglesby. Yeah, it was a mess. I was 20 years old signing in Ukraine. You want to hear stories? I got stories. But having those guys big around the perimeter with all that athleticism, and they play with such an edge, like what a team. What a team.
I want to hammer home on that point about the size though. Kirk Kriisa may not look it, but there goes T.O. He's gone. Kirk Kriisa is 6'3", right? Benedict Mathurin is 6'6" with a long wingspan. Dallin Terry is 6'7", and I swear it looks like his wingspan is 8 feet.
Yep.
Christian Koloko, as you mentioned, is like a 7'7" wingspan around the rim. He's a 7'1" dude. Azuolas Tubelis is 6'11". And the thing about those guys 2 through 4 is they can be switchable if you need them to. Like Dallin Terry can hold his own to the post, block a shot if you need him to, can switch out into a point guard in there. Azuolas Tubelis can guard out on the perimeter a little bit. Like he's not a total stiff like you would expect a lot of these Euro guys to be.
Dude, watch Azuolas Tubelis run the floor and seal.
Yes.
Like, dude, he runs like EJ Liddell runs. Like, because for some reason I was watching EJ Liddell clips, and then right after that I was watching Azuolas Tubelis. Good shit. But like being able to watch those guys back to back, I mean, they ran very similar. He's not quite as fast, but good gosh, how good. Much more athletic than I think people give him credit for.
Arizona is a very, very good team. Fantastic. I know you got another point, and then we can move on to we got other games we got to talk about. So what do you got on Arizona?
Sorry.
How great this is for the sport. This is a big time brand. It's been a while. They had gone through an ugly period of time, but the ability to attract high-level talent has never left Tucson. That's a really good fan base. They're going to have that place buzzing when they get into the Pac-12. And I think that for the Pac-12 conference, they have one of the marquee league games in the country this season when Arizona and UCLA meet. And that's really good for the Pac-12. And I also think this, if I'm in the Turner Sports or NCAA offices, I'm encouraged by the idea of, again, remember last year we had a bunch of teams west of the Mississippi make the Final Four, but it wasn't the same. It didn't have the same impact nationally because we weren't able to fill the building.
Right.
It would be really interesting this year. Like you're looking at a Final Four where you could have some major brands at the Final Four this season. And I think that it's really good for college basketball that we have some teams out west that are performing at this level and could get to this level. It's something that, not to give the comparison, but I will. College football has been missing for such a long time. There's not enough compelling action out west. So look, I talked up the Pac-12 in the preseason. They've disappointed in the middle and the bottom, but they still have 2 teams that could reach a Final Four.
Three.
USC
is very, very good.
Yeah, that would shock me.
I wonder how much of these issues at Memphis could be solved if Boogie Ellis was still at that program instead of with USC. But that's a different conversation for a different day.